And my econ is really all about your personal financial success, your individual financial success. And what we teach is what I call evergreen, meaning 20 years from now, 40 years from now, 100 years from now, people will still want to know what we are teaching. And that's how to better manage their finances. That never goes away. And so I'm excited about what we have to share with you today. Every person in this room, the guests, you're going to learn something. You're going to walk away with knowledge that you didn't have when you came here this morning. You're going to walk away with something that you can actually implement and hopefully put some more cash flow in your pockets. If you will, say cash flow. Cash flow. See, it's not about the income that you make, but it's about the cash flow. Cash flow is what's left over after you've got income coming in your house minus the expenses. It's what's left over. Income minus expenses equals cash flow. How many of you know that some people have negative cash flow? That means that they got more expenses than income coming into the house. You will never get wealthy if your cash flow is negative. You see, everybody's worried about how to make more money, how to make a lot of money. How many of you know athletes and entertainers that made millions of dollars that are broke? Yes. That means that their cash flow was negative. So we're going to talk about cash flow today. We're not going to talk about income, because income is subjective. Doesn't really matter if the income is high and the expenses are high, or even higher, okay? So we're going to get started with this company called My Econ. My Econ is short for My Economy. Say My Economy. My Economy. My Economy. See, when the founders created this company, they wanted to focus on the personal individual's success. We wanted to worry and work on the individual. That's why we're called the Personal Financial Success Company. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you a little bit about My Econ so that you have a ground floor understanding of the company. My Econ is a 13-year-old debt-free company. We are technology driven and we're based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Now the next point that's so important is that My Econ has helped its associates generate over $400 million. That's not the company, that's the associates that are sitting in the seats that have generated over $400 million. Now I told you that we're a personal financial success company. So the question that you should ask yourself is, what does personal financial success mean? See, if I ask everyone in this room what your definition of personal financial success meant, I get 40 or 50 different answers. So that we're all on the same page, I want to make sure that we all understand personal financial success. You see, My Econ defines personal financial success as having enough cash flow to support your current lifestyle, while at the same time having enough cash flow to support your future lifestyle. Here's what that means in layman's terms. You go to work every day to take care of your current needs. But there will come a day where you will either not want to work, or you might be in a situation where you're not unable to work. And at that point, your money is going to have to create the cash flow that you need to survive. That's a big deal in America today. And so I want to ask you a question. If you are living paycheck to paycheck, how are you going to take care of your future lifestyle if you're having a hard time taking care of your current lifestyle? Wow. We're going to help you solve that situation so that not only can you have a good lifestyle today, but you can also take a portion of your seed money and start planting it and start investing so that in the future you will have money that will carry you all the way to the end. That's what personal financial success means. Now, to attain financial success, you need two things. The first thing you need is more cash flow. But we already talked about that. More cash flow doesn't mean automatic success. We know athletes and entertainers who've gone broke. The reason that they've gone broke is because they didn't have the second thing. The second thing is better financial strategies. Now, My Econ is going to teach you a strategy called income shifting. I need everybody to say that for me. Income shifting. Absolutely. Now, income shifting is going to help you generate cash flow in 5 unique ways. 5 unique ways. And here's the exciting thing. Everybody in this room can generate cash flow in these 5 unique ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the 5 different new cash flow streams that we actually have. The first cash flow stream is correcting tax withholding. My second cash flow stream is minimizing taxes. My third cash flow stream is building business income. My fourth cash flow stream is debt elimination. And my fifth and my favorite is investing, building that passive income. Now what I'm going to do over the next couple of minutes is I'm going to go through each cash flow stream in detail, starting off with the first, which is correcting tax withholdings. All right? So now here's what we know. We know that 80% of employees have too much money taken out of their paychecks. How do we know that? We went to the IRS's website and we said, what was the average refund last year? The average refund was $3,120 in refund. Now here's the interesting thing. Of all the people that filed a tax return, 83% received a refund. I need y'all to think about that for a moment. Of all the people that filed a tax return, 83% got a refund. We're in tax season right now. They got commercials with people dancing across the screen, talking about get your money back, America, get your billions back. And everybody's excited right now because they're expecting a large check to come back into their pockets. And they're excited as if the government is giving them something. But let me ask you a question. You go down to Best Buy, buy your big screen TV, you get home, you put it up on the wall and it doesn't work. You take it down, put it back in the box, you go back to Best Buy and you ask for a refund. You didn't ask for them to give you any extra money, you asked them to give you your money back. So when you get a tax refund, it was your money in the first place. Now somebody says, why is that important? Because your money has value. Your money has value. You got to understand this. Now let me ask you this question. If I gave you $1 billion today, and I said you can hold this $1 billion, but you're going to have to pay it back 12 months from now. How many people think that they can make some money off of $1 billion and get it back in 12 months? Right? You can just go put it down in the bank and get some money back that way.
25 cents.
I didn't ask you. I said, how many of you could take that money and go put it somewhere and make some money? Because you got to give it back. I understand that the banks ain't paying but 0.1%. I understand that. But I asked the question, how many of you can make money off the money and not lose it? I ain't talking about you going out there and open up a French fry stand and all them other kinds of things. Because we got to give the money back. So let me ask you this question. America has billions of dollars that the taxpayer, the citizens of America have overpaid. And they're using your money to finance everything else that they got going on. And now they're getting to the point where they're telling you, well, we can't pay you until XY date. Last year, they delayed the IRS payments. Last year, they delayed the refund. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to overpay, and then I got to wait on you to pay me back.
That's right. That's right.
And if they delayed last year, that lets you know that there's some problems. When you don't get your money back on time, there's some problems going on in America. But you allowing them to hold your money. See, your money has value. Here's what you need to write down. Your money is going to make money. The question that you need to be asking is for who?
That's good.
Your money's going to make money, but the question is for who? So see, your money has value. Now here's what my econ teaches. My econ teaches you how to correct your tax withholding so that you get your money back throughout the year, so that you don't overpay. And then you can take that extra money that comes back into your pocket and you can use it for one or two things. You can either use it to invest, or you can use it to lower your debt. Okay? Now somebody told me, they said, well, June, it's the same money. If I get it every month, or if I get it at the end of the year, it's the exact same money. They don't understand finances. Because your money has value. You can put your money to work, you can invest your money, and your money can draw interest over that period of time. But let me tell you what the real deal is that most people have not thought of. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. They bounce a couple of checks every month. How much does a bounce check cost?
$35.
Y'all quick answer that. Y'all real quick answer that. I mean, y'all know about that, right? It costs $35 to bounce a check. Now let me ask you a question. I used to work for the bank. I was assistant vice president of Wells Fargo. Here's what the bank would do. When you wrote checks, the bank would get your checks. They look at your account, and what they would do, their policy is to cash the highest amount of checks first. All right. I want you to think about that. So that you bounce more checks.
Yep.
Because if they took the lowest amount of checks first, you'd only bounce one check.
Right.
But they take the highest check and they cash that first, and then they start doing it so that you can bounce 2 or 3 checks. That's the game that the banks play. They cash the highest checks first. That puts you in a position to bounce more checks. So now you've got 2 or 3 bounce checks. That's $70. Now, if you had your money that you didn't overpay the government, would you have bounced that check? No. So it cost you $70 because you gave somebody your money to hold for the whole year. Now I ask people this: if I were your landlord and your rent was $2,000 a month, would you come to me and say, I know my rent's $2,000 a month, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay you $2,500. I want you to hold the $500 every month, and at the end of the year, I'd like for you to just give me $6,000 back. How many people would do that with their landlord? But you do it with the United States government every month. See, it doesn't make sense to do that with my landlord, but I do it with the United States government each and every month. So our first cash flow stream is to show you how to correct your tax withholding so that you bring that money back into your pockets. When we help people do this, on average, we see an increase in their monthly paycheck by $200 to $500. That's the first cash flow stream. You didn't sell a product, you didn't talk to anybody, you just went ahead and got your money back. Now. And now you've got an extra $200 to $500 a month that you can now start applying to either debt or investments. Now in my econ, we are accountable people. We want to make you accountable because that's just the first cash flow stream. Now here's what we don't want you to do. We don't want you to get an extra $500 a month and then all of a sudden you need a new car. Because what ends up happening is you went from living paycheck to paycheck to getting a little bit of relief, and then what you did is you put yourself back to paycheck to paycheck. That's not the strategy. So our first strategy is correcting your tax withholding, which puts an extra $200 to $500 a month back in most people's pockets. Our second cash flow stream is minimizing taxes. You are going to have to pay taxes. Okay? So what we want to do is we want to help you minimize those taxes. Now, I'm a big believer that if you are a taxpayer in America today, you know that there are 2 tax systems or 2 tax codes that are going on. There's a tax system for the haves and a tax system for the have-nots.
Yes.
Now, when most people hear me say that, they think I'm talking about the rich and the poor, but I'm not. There's a tax system for those that have a Schedule C and a tax system for those that have not a Schedule C. If you don't know what a Schedule C is, you are part of the have-nots. But today, before you leave here today, you're going to understand what a Schedule C is and why everyone in this room needs a Schedule C. You see, there was a gentleman who was debating a year and a half ago. And the person he was debating, she said that he didn't pay any taxes. And he didn't argue that. He stood there and said, yup, because that makes me smart. Now the whole world got upset because he said that because he didn't pay any taxes, it made him smart. The whole world got upset. I sat back and I said, well, he ain't in jail. He obviously knows something that Wesley Snipes didn't know. He knows something that Lauryn Hill didn't know.
Right, honestly.
I want to know what he knows. See, what he said, and then he further went on to say that if you don't want me to not pay taxes, then change the law.
Right.
That's what he said, change the law. Now guess what? He ain't been able to change nothing but one thing. What did he change?
Taxes.
He changed the law.
That's right. That's right.
See, we all saying, well, he didn't change Obamacare, he didn't change this and that, but he changed the most important thing.
Right. That's right. That's right. He sure did.
Obamacare is nothing compared to what he actually got accomplished. Now, a lot of people are upset that he changed this law, taxes and this and that. But guess what? Guess who's excited? Who do you think's excited about it? Business owners. Business owners. Now, I don't care what your political affiliation is, but I'm going to tell you that as a business owner, I am excited about the tax reform bill.
All right. That's right.
Thank you. I'm excited about that because I happen to be a business owner. Now, a lot of people are complaining. Well, he's only doing this for the rich. He only helping out the rich. Let me tell you something. It's a game. You and I can't change the game. So what you need to be able to change is you need to change uniforms.
Right.
You can either keep being in the poor uniform and complaining about the rich, or you can take this jersey off and go get you a rich jersey and put on a rich jersey and play according to the rules. You cannot fight the rules.
Right.
But what you can do is you can join in and participate. But they got you thinking that I can't participate. They got you thinking that you got to be rich in order to participate. No, you got to do and play the rules and get rich. It ain't that they design it for the rich. What they designed it for is those that apply the rules get rich. That's why most of America is blind and they think that the poor and the rich are fighting against one another when they don't understand that if they apply the rules, they will get rich and change the uniform. So what are some of the rules? Well, the rules are, if you have a business, there are some things that you can write off. You can write this off on your Schedule C. These are things that everybody has. Let me give you an example. How about car and truck expenses? How many of you drove in on a vehicle today, in a vehicle, right? I hope everybody drove in a vehicle. No horses and ponies, right? That means that you're going to have a car anyway. To my guests that are in the room, you probably had a car before you got here today. You didn't go down to the dealership last night and say, well, you know, I got to go to this My Econ meeting, and so I got to go buy a car to go to the meeting. No, you already had the car. But the difference is that you are not able to write off your expenses. See, when I hop in my car, I'm able to write off the miles. I'm able to write off the tires that I have to put on the car, the oil changes, even the tags and titles that I have to pay at the end of the year during my birthday. But see, when I didn't have a business, I still had those same expenses. The same expenses. But now by having a business, I get to write those things off. That's huge. Well, somebody says, well, what does writing it off mean? What that means is that when I write it off, it lowers the amount that I have to pay in taxes. How about the next one? Communications. How many of you got a cell phone in the room today?
Everybody.
Everybody got a cell phone. Your kids got a cell phone. The dog got a cell phone, right? Everybody got a cell phone. You gonna have a cell phone? Anyway. But when you have a business, you now can write off your cell phone, the cell phone service, the internet, the computers, the laptops, all of your communication equipment. Comes a write-off. So we got millions of people standing in line trying to buy a $1,000 iPhone.
Yeah, right.
They ain't got $1,000 in the bank, but they trying to buy a $1,000 iPhone. If you're gonna buy a $1,000 iPhone, at least write it off.
Amen to that. All
Now
right.
that's right. I know that's right.
Most of them standing in line ain't writing off the iPhone. But what that does is that lowers your tax liability, which puts more money in your pockets. Let's take a look at another one, travel. Spring break coming up. There's some people that are gonna take their kids on spring break. You're gonna take them to Disneyland, Disney World, wherever you want to take them. You're gonna go take the kids. Summer vacation coming up. You're going on vacation. If you're in the South, I don't know how they do it over here on the West Side, but on the South, we go on family reunions.
My Lord.
Got to have a family reunion, right? Got to have a family reunion. See, when you have a business and you're a business owner like me, I stopped taking vacations. I stopped going on family reunions. I go on business trips.
That's right.
And it just so happened the family reunion break out when I'm on a business trip. How did the family know I was going to be at this hotel? Family reunion just broke out while I was on business. I'm blessed. Right? Highly favored. I go on vacation. But I go on a business trip. And when I get on the business trip, I go stop by Disney World or Disneyland.
My Lord.
Right? Hop in the pool and I'm on business. But I need to relax a little bit, get some of that stress off of me. And I just happen to take the family with me. But you laugh. But my family are my employees in my business. And we got a benefits package.
My Lord.
My benefits package says that my family members get season tickets to Six Flags. That's a business benefit. My business benefit says that my family gets their cell phone paid for.
What? Come on.
Oh yeah. See, when I worked for Google and when I worked for Microsoft, they gave me a cell phone. Ain't nobody saying nothing about that. So if Microsoft can give me a cell phone, if Google can give me a cell phone, why can't I give a cell phone to my employees? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? See, my kids gonna have a cell phone anyway. But I'm gonna get a chance to write all of that off. Lower my tax liability. How about this? Wages. Now, I did some research and they tell me that when you have a child, it costs $12,000 a year to take care of a child. And over a 17-year period, it's gonna cost you somewhere around $250,000 to take care of your child. That means you're gonna spend the money anyway, right? We're not gonna do like these parents that lock their kids up and didn't feed them, and y'all know the ones right here in California, right? We're not gonna do that. We love our children, so we're gonna take care of our children. We're gonna spend money on our children. The children need school clothes. We're gonna get them some new school clothes every year. They got band lessons. We're gonna get them some band instruments. They want to go on a field trip. We're not going to let our kids sit in class while the rest of their friends go on a field trip. We're going to spend money on our children because we love them. But what I do is I hire my children in my business. I then pay them a wage. And then I take the wage and I use the wage to buy the school clothes. I use their wage to buy the band instruments. I use their wage to take care of the field trips that they're going on. See, it's the same money, but I shifted it through my business so I can create a tax deduction. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Yes. Now here's the exciting part. In 2018, the tax reform bill now says that I can pay my child up to $12,000. The child don't have to pay no taxes on that money, and I get to write $12,000 off.
That's right. Yeah. New law.
That's the new law. See, have you ever wondered why the wealthy, their children work in their mom and dad's business? Because they're writing it off. See, when I was growing up, I'm from South Carolina. We're in the rural area. When I was growing up, all of my friends, we fighting and tugging, trying to get the only little jobs that are around town at McDonald's and at the grocery store. But I noticed that some of the other kids in my school, they never worked at any of the jobs that we worked at. They worked on their parents' farm. And I also noticed that they got to drive these big Jeeps and big four-wheelers with the tires up to here at the school. And it never dawned on me that they never worked at the fast food restaurants. They never worked at the grocery stores. It was only until I got into my econ and I started thinking back 20, 30 years ago, their parents hired them in their business so that they could write off their taxes and lower their tax liability. Why didn't my parents do that?
My goodness.
They didn't know. My people perish for lack of knowledge. But you're not going to perish today. Because today I'm going to give you some knowledge. I'm going to give you some knowledge to change your financial situation, to change generations from generations to generations. Now what you do with this knowledge is up to you. See, you can't leave here today and say nobody told me. Nobody shared this with me. Because I'm sharing it with you today. I'm sharing with you strategies on how to get wealthy, how to get rich. See, people don't like that. They don't like when they say how to get rich. If you don't like how to get rich, get out of here. Because that ain't what we're here for. I'm not going to tell you how to get poor. You've already mastered that. Amen. I want to show you how to generate wealth that can transform your family. See, I decided a long time ago that I want my great-great-great-grandkids to remember me. See, I want to have that big picture up on the mantle in front of the fireplace, and they say, "Old man June started this off." See, I don't know my great-great-great-granddaddy's name. I don't know his name. I don't know who he is. He ain't left us nothing. That's probably why we don't know who he is. But I plan to leave a legacy so that my family will never erase my name. What are you planning on doing? So our second cash flow stream is minimizing taxes. And sometimes you will minimize your taxes down to zero. See, someone said, why didn't he go to jail? It's because he filed his taxes. Then he applied the law to his taxes. And he started writing off his taxes down to the point where he owed $0. Wesley Snipes made some money. Then he decided not to file the taxes. He decided not to tell the government that he made this money. And that's called tax evasion. And they came and locked his butt up. That's the difference. But most people think it's the same. Most people that you go out in the streets, they will say that Donald Trump didn't go to jail because he's wealthy. He didn't go to jail because he's white. Well, Willie Nelson went to jail too. So So it ain't got nothing to do with the color of your skin. It's got to do with the knowledge that they apply. All right, I'm gonna start preaching. We're gonna go on to cash flow stream number 3. Cash flow stream number 3 is building business income. Now, we don't create businesses just so that we can take business deductions. That's just a nice benefit. That's a plus. But what we do is we generate business income so that we can increase our cash flow. And MyEcon has a world-class business system. It's a business in the box. And when you become a member of MyEcon, you get the income shifting membership. Membership has its privileges. Let's talk about what's inside of this membership. The first thing that's inside this membership is the income shifting strategies. I showed you 4 ways to shift your income. But do you know that there are over 475 ways that small businesses can shift the expenses that they're already spending money on? Let me give you an example of another one. We don't cover this in MyEcon, but when you get in MyEcon and you get around people and you start understanding and start learning, you'll start learning these other little things that you can do. We just celebrated Valentine's Day. Did the fellas get the wife something for Valentine's? Did y'all get her some flowers or something? Hopefully you did, right? If you didn't, you're in the doghouse. I understand. But I want you to know that I got my wife these 50 big blossom roses. I mean, they were so big, I was like, wow, they got these from like the Amazon or something, right? But I got to write those flowers off.
Amen.
Now, I see some guys that's doing like, what? Because see, I used to hate buying flowers because I felt like I'm buying something that's going to die anyway, right? That was just my man thought process. But I understand that I got to, if I want to stay happy, I got to make her happy. And if that's what makes her happy, I got to do that.
Amen.
But I started reading and I started figuring out that when you go to a building, when you go to a hotel like this, is it uncommon for you to see some flowers in front of the bouquet of flowers at the receptionist desk? It's not uncommon. That's common that you would see that. Is it uncommon for you to go into an office where the receptionist is, the secretary, she greets you, and there's a bouquet of flowers right there at the receptionist desk?
Right.
Is that common?
Yes.
That's a business. They bought those flowers, and they got to write those flowers off.
Right.
Guess what? I got a receptionist desk at my house.
Praise the Lord.
Thank you. Right? I got a receptionist desk at my house. I got a receptionist at my house.
All right.
She needs some flowers. So I got some flowers for the reception area.
Right.
Right? And I got a chance to write that off. See, we both bought some flowers. It's just that if you weren't in business, you didn't write yours off, and I got to write mine off.
And you can write it off every week.
And, well, man. No, I can't do it every week. But on the special occasions, I do those types of things. See, what we're going to teach you is we're going to teach you how to write off your lifestyle.
Right. Exactly.
How to write off your lifestyle. What do you think Donald Trump does? He writes off his lifestyle. And everybody else's lifestyle. He got a big lifestyle.
His golf course?
And he writes that off.
He writes it off.
Oh, come on.
And that's how he lowers his taxes down to 0. Why do you think he does not want anyone to see his tax return?
Right.
Because if you see it, you'll start being enlightening about how he's doing what he's able to do. But you ain't got to see his tax return because I'm telling you what it is.
Right.
So we got the income shifting membership. We got cash flow manager software. You see, the IRS says, yes, you can start a home-based business. Yes, you can write off your car and truck expenses. Yes, you can write off your communications. Yes, you can write off your travel. But the IRS says you must maintain proper documentation. You got to keep good records. So what we've done is we've designed software that goes onto your smartphone. Every time you got some receipts or every time you have an expense, You just take a picture of the receipt, you put in the information, you upload it to the cloud. You throw the receipt away. Receipt ain't no good anyway, because by the time you put it in your wallet, 2 days later you can't read it nowhere. It got disappearing ink on it or something. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So we take pictures of our receipt, we store that into the cloud. Then at the end of the year, we print one button. It prints out all of our expenses for the year. We give it to our tax professional, and they begin to use that for our Schedule C. But if you don't have that, your tax professional can't create a Schedule C for you. If you don't have a Schedule C, you can't write off your lifestyle. See, we're not breaking any laws. We're just applying the law.
Right.
And once you apply the law, you will start seeing your finances getting better, and then you will start going from one jersey to the next jersey. You'll go from being in the poor jersey, then you get in on over here to the rich jersey. But you ain't varsity yet. You just JV rich. Right? You JV rich. But if you keep on working this thing, you move from JV to the superstar of your team. That's our goal. Cash Flow Manager does that for you. Identity theft protection. We offer a $1 million policy that will protect your identity should it be compromised, so that you can get your name back, get it correct, right? And identity theft is one of the largest crimes in the world today. They're not just stealing your identity to buy things on credit, but they're stealing your identity so they can go to the hospital and check in with your name. The crook get pulled over by the police. He done stole your identity and told the police that he is you. Now when you get pulled over, they got you slapped upside the car and want to know why they handcuffing you, talking about you done been to jail 15 times, you ain't showed up for court order, and you like, what? Your identity got stolen. And that's a real thing.
It is.
And they lock you up and they don't ask no questions. So you got to have something that protects you. We've got that in that membership. You got free discount legal services. I'm telling you, as your money starts to grow, you're going to need some access to some attorneys. I promise you that.
Yes, that's right.
You're going to need to write some wills.
Yes.
You're going to need to get a new house. You're going to need to have a closing attorney. You need to have all these different types of attorneys, so we provide you with discount access to attorneys. Smart money credit system. You got to have great credit. As your money starts to improve, the way that your money starts to improve is you start improving your credit. See, if you and I bought the same vehicle, but you paying 21% interest on the vehicle, and I'm paying 1% interest on the vehicle, that's a major difference. We driving the same daggone car, but you paying $200 more for it on a monthly basis. See, if you don't understand the principle of money, you will throw your money away and pay more for things than people who have the same thing that you have. That makes literally no sense to me. It makes no sense that you and I can drive the same exact vehicle and you pay $200 a month more than I do. What sense does that make? You got to fix your credit. So what we do is we provide you with training and education that shows you how to pull your credit score, how to read your credit report. We teach you how to dispute the items on your credit. We even provide you with template letters that you can send to the credit bureaus so they can remove negative items from your credit. It can be done. We've seen people increase their credit score 50, 100 to 150 points. And that's included inside your membership. We also have discount travel and corporate perks. See, every time I get on a plane, I get paid to fly. I'm gonna fly anyway. I might as well get paid to fly. I get paid to stay in this hotel. They pay me for doing what I'm gonna do anyway. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna participate in that. All of that is included in your membership. Now, in a business, you would agree that to have a business, you need products and services, right? So my econ has a powerful retail plan. We got a powerful retail product plan. In our powerful retail product plan, we've got the ID Defender, the Smart Money Credit System, and our Cash Flow Manager. Now here's the thing, you get all of these things included in your membership. So you don't have to pay for them. They come in your membership. But there are people who are not in my econ who actually want some of these products and services. So we retail these products and services to the general public. See, there's other people that want to make sure that their identity is taken care of. And we don't just cover your identity, we can cover your entire family. Well, why is that important? Well, your 12-year-old, he probably ain't gonna pull his credit, he ain't gonna do nothing with his credit. But you know, Uncle Bobo came over to the house, stayed over to the house, saw Junior's credit score, and he needed some new credit.
My goodness.
So then he stole Junior's credit. And he used Junior's credit for the last 5 to 7 years, and nobody ever knew it because Junior was 12 years old. Junior ain't trying to get nothing. But when Junior gets ready to go to college, got to do some financial aid, they say, Junior, your credit jacked up. And Junior said, how that happen? Well, Junior, you got a water bill, you got electric bill, you ain't paid your mortgage. Junior, 18 years old, what you mean mortgage? See, most of the children's credit who's stolen is not stolen by a stranger. Most of the time it's somebody close in the family. So see, what you got to do is in this day and age, you not only have to protect your credit, you got to protect your children's credit. So we got that for you. We got the credit system. We got the cash flow manager. You said, well, the cash flow manager is just for those of us that's in my econ. Not so, not so, not so. I get in the Uber car everywhere I travel. Every time I get in the Uber, I ask them, are you writing off your miles? You know what the Uber driver says? What you talking about? I'm like, you in business and you don't even understand that you in business. See, they got laid off from their job and they say, well, I'm gonna go start driving this Uber thing, and I'm now driving Uber and I like the freedom and the flexibility, but no one ever taught them that there are expenses that they can write off because they are now a 1099 employee, a 1099 self-employed. There's thousands of dollars that they can be writing off.
I sponsored my Uber driver.
You sponsor your Uber driver. Everybody that drive Uber need to ask that question, are you writing this off? How many miles do you think an Uber driver drives in a year? If they drive 10,000 miles and get 54 cents a mile, that's $5,400 of tax deductions that they just threw out the window because they weren't tracking their expenses. They gotta wash their car, they gotta vacuum the car, they gotta get oil changes, they gotta do a whole bunch. But they don't realize that they're business owners. And so you can sell this to the Uber driver. You can sell it to your realtor. You can sell it to anyone who's a 1099 self-employed. Because I'm telling you, most people that are 1099s don't even understand what we understand here. Yeah. They got a write-off and they're not taking it because no one ever taught them. But we also have travel, nutrition and healthy beverages in our own cashback mall. See, if you're going to shop at Walmart, if you're going to shop at Home Depot, if you're going to shop at these types of places, Best Buy, doesn't it make sense that you get some cash back?
Yes.
So we got a cashback mall that allows you to get cash back at the stores that you're shopping at anyway. So these are our products and services that we offer in our company. Now I want to talk to you about how to make some money in this thing. Somebody say, show me the money. Show me the money. So my econ has a world-class compensation plan. When you get involved in my econ, you come in as a marketing director, and the first promotion that you can receive in my econ is that of an executive vice president. Now, in order to become an executive vice president, you can do one or two things. You can go out and sell $200 worth of CV. Those are some of the products and services that we have. Or you can go and find two people and say, listen, do you want to know how to get your money back? You want to know how to get an extra $200 to $500 back in your check every month? Do you want to know how to write off them kids you got? Do you want to know how to write off that vehicle that you're driving back and forth in this traffic? If they say yes, 2 people, you get promoted to executive vice president. Now, as an executive vice president, you'll earn up to 100% commission on any products that you sell. You earn up to 85% commission on any products that your team sells. Not only does that happen, when you introduce someone and they get started in my econ, just like you got started, you receive an upfront bonus the very next Friday of $35. And then anytime someone on your team comes into my econ, you can receive up to $25 when they come on. That's people that you don't even know that come into your organization. Because see, everybody's out there talking about income shifting. We start to show people how to take better advantage of their money. But it gets better than that. We got this thing called residual income. Residual income. Here's what residual income is for those of you who don't know. You go to work one day. You do 8 hours on your job. You work hard for one day on your job. Then for the rest of the year, you take off. And your job sends you a check every 2 weeks. How many would like that kind of job? How many would sign up for that? I sign up for it in a heartbeat. But unfortunately, it don't work that way in corporate America. But it works that way in my econ. See, when you start working and you build this business, you start getting residual income. Anywhere from $5 up to $10 per person of residual income. So let's just say that you and your team, not you by yourself, but you and your team got started and you decided to build your team. And in 6 months, y'all started talking to people and you and your team got 200 people interested in income shifting. I think you can find 200 people that want to get $200 to $500 back in their check. I think you can find 200 people that want to hire their children and lower their taxes, want to write off their car and truck expenses. So they got started, and now you get $5 per person every month. Now in Georgia, 5 times 200 is $1,000. I don't know what that is in California, but in Georgia, our math says that $5 times 200 people is $1,000 a month. Now let me ask you something. See, some of you say, well, how hard is the work? We got any guests in here? Raise your hand if you guess. You're a guest. Who are you a guest of? Okay.
Joan.
What's your name?
Joan.
Joan. All right. So now, I'm going to show you how hard it is to build this business. Look at Joan. What's she doing?
Smiling.
She just smiled, right? Joan said, just come here to the meeting. You sitting down here. And Joan just sitting beside you. And Joan going, that's good. That's going good right there. That's how hard it is to do the business. Because I'm working. Joan sitting down. And Joan just saying, that's good, that's good. That's how hard it is to do this business. I need you to understand that. Because there's some more of you in here. They got some guests sitting next to you. Look at the person that invited you and tell me if they sweat. They're not sweating. Because it's not that difficult to do this. Just say, look, you need to come and listen and hear something about what they got going on. But let's just say that you're making $1,000 a month on a residual basis because you showed a few people how to shift your income. Now, I know $1,000 won't solve all your problems, but it will solve a few of them. It'll start getting you some relief. And if $1,000 a month happens, guess what most people say? Well, if I can make 1,000, maybe I can do 2. And you keep working, and then 12 to 18 months down the road, you got 1,000 people on your team. We now pay you $10 a person. That's $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year. Now you definitely can start making some changes doing that part-time. We got people in this business that are still part-time that got over 1,000 people on their team learning how to income shift. They're making $10,000 a month plus doing this business. Now here's what I want you to also understand. When you build your business to generating $10,000 a month, I want you to realize that you are a millionaire at that point. Somebody said, June, your math, I know you said in Georgia. Your math is wrong on that. But let me help you on something. When you have a business that you own, the way that you determine the value of your business is they pay you 8 to 10 to 12 times earnings. That's the value of your business. If you went to go buy a McDonald's, how do you know how much it's worth? It's worth 8 to 12 times earnings. So if you just created a business in my econ and you generate $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year, 10 times earnings is $1.2 million. So you got to start thinking like the wealthy. You got to start understanding what your worth is.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right, man.
Just something for you to think about. That's our compensation plan. A little bit deeper, we'll go into more training afterwards, but that's the compensation plan. Now, I told you we have 5 cash flow streams, so I'm going to tackle the 4th cash flow stream, which is debt elimination. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the biggest thing that's holding America back today. Not only is it holding us back as individuals, but it's holding the country back, because the country in debt. See, they want to make it seem like we all messed up, we all jacked up, but the country jacked up as well, because the country's in debt. You got to get out of debt. Debt is an anchor around your neck. There's a good book that I read that said that the borrower is slave to the lender. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm done with them slavery days. I don't know about you, but I decided that I did not want to be anybody's slave. You see, today the chains are different. They're financial chains, financial shackles. So I'm going to show you how we get you out of debt. We're going to take an extra $1,000 a month, and we're going to apply that to our debt. Now you may be saying, well, where am I going to get this extra $1,000 a month? Remember, the first cash flow stream was to change your withholdings. We're going to get an extra $200 to $500 a month from that. The second cash flow stream was to minimize your taxes. There's another $200 to $500 a month that you can get from that. The third cash flow stream was building some business income, and we said that you can make thousands of dollars doing that. So out of those 3 cash flow streams, conservatively, we're saying that you can generate $1,000 a month. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to eliminate some debt. In this example, we have a car note that's $17,000 on the note. So this is not somebody that's balling out. This is just a regular individual with a Honda Accord. They got a payment of $545 a month. We're going to take the $1,000, add it to the $545, we're going to get a new payment of $1,545. We're going to eliminate our car note in 12 months versus the 32 months it would have taken us had we just applied the minimum payment. Now at the end of 12 months, we're going to have $1,545 left over. We're going to roll that $1,545 into our next debt, which is a Visa. We got $8,000 on the Visa. We got a minimum payment of $200 a month. We're going to take the $1,545, add it to the $200. We got a new payment of $1,745. We're going to eliminate our credit card debt in 5 months versus the 78 months it would have taken us. Now we got $1,745 every month, and we got a $450,000 home. Now I did this $450,000 because I'm down here in California. In Atlanta, that's a mansion, right? I hear that $450,000 is a shack around here. That's what I hear. I don't know, but in Atlanta, $450,000 goes real long, right? But we did $450 because I was coming to California. So we got a $450,000 mortgage. Our note is $2,800 a month. We take the $1,745, add it to the 28, we get a new payment of $4,545. We eliminate our mortgage in 100 months versus the 360 months it would have taken us. And we got $4,545 left over. Check what we just accomplished. We have eliminated $475,000 of debt in 117 months. That's including our mortgage. But here's the thing that really shocked me, and it should shock you. We saved $703,000 in interest payments.
That's good.
I want you to think about this. The borrower is slave
To the lender.
to the lender. We borrowed somewhere around $475,000. We had to pay that back, and if we paid our minimum payment, we had to pay that back and that.
And that.
Because that's the interest. That's the interest we saved.
On the debt.
Did y'all hear what somebody said, and that?
And that. And that.
Yeah.
That's why you're broke.
Right.
And not you, but that's why America's broke. Because they don't understand that the interest is working against you. Now, your goal in life is to be a lender, not a borrower. Because the good book tells me that I'm supposed to lend and not borrow. Because we already know that the good book tells me that the borrower is slave to the lender. That's slavery right there. We're trying to get you out of slavery. Now Harriet Tubman said that she could have, you know the routine. She could have saved more if they just had known that they was in slavery. See, I drive down Atlanta. I don't know how they do here in California, but in Atlanta we got some rich black folk. They like to look rich. And I ride down Atlanta and I see them riding in Benzes and Mercedes and all kind of vehicles. And a lot of people get impressed. But you know what I say? I see debt people.
Right.
I see debt people. Let that click. I see debt people.
Man,
See, it ain't nothing to get no Mercedes. That ain't nothing. Anybody can get that. That's $500-600 a month. I go get me a little part-time job as a janitor and make $500-600 a month, and go get me finance me a Mercedes, and make you think I got it going on. And that's what we get caught up. We get caught up in what we see. But you got to be careful of the eyes, because what the eyes see is not always what it is.
Preach.
But they want to show off. And I told them I wish I could show off. I wish I could ride my Honda Accord. And I got under my back window. You know how when you buy a car, they got a little sticker, how much the car costs and all that. I wish I could get a sticker that had my portfolio in it, my investment portfolio. Yeah, I'm driving the Honda Accord and I pull up to the guy that's driving the Mercedes. And he look over at my investment portfolio. And my investment portfolio is worth 10 times that Mercedes. Then we gonna see who the real baller is in Atlanta, Georgia. But they won't let me do that. They won't let me do that. They said that's too much ego. But it's ego when the guy driving that Mercedes around too. See, we're gonna change and shift the mindset, because this is where it starts. My econ is gonna show you how to change your financial situation. We saved ourselves $703,000. And now we got $45 a month that we can invest or use for lifestyle. Now I want to tell you something that's very personal. I've been out of debt 3 times. Been out of debt 3 times. I'm going to share something with you. When you get on this track of debt elimination, let's say you make it to this track and you start paying off debt. Boom. Now you got an extra $1,545 every month after you paid that first debt off. You got $1,500. You pay all your bills and you got $1,500 left over. That was me the first time. I paid and I got $1,500 left over. Guess what happened? Oh man, that money was burning a hole in my hand. I got $1,500 left over. I ain't stretching and paycheck to paycheck no more. And your mind fools you, and then you end up going out there and financing some more stuff, and then you look up 6 months later and you're like, how I get right back in the same place? Because I thought I had something. And I did, but I didn't finish the process. So, second time, I mastered my emotions. Got here and paid off this. Got here and paid off my mortgage. Now, at that time, I had a little $80,000 house. Brand new. I bought an $80,000 house brand new in Atlanta. That tells you the difference between Atlanta and California. Right? Y'all can't even afford a 1-bedroom for $80,000. Right? But that's Atlanta, okay? And that was Atlanta about 20-some years ago. I bought a house for a 3-2. 3-bedroom, 2-bath for about 80 grand. We paid it off. Now, no debt. Guess what the wife said? We need a new house. You must know my wife. You've been talking to my wife. She said we need a new house. So I said, baby, I love you. Let's go get a new house. What I didn't realize is when you get a new house, you got to get new furniture. Because the old furniture don't work in the new house. They didn't tell me that, ladies. Y'all didn't tell me that. Y'all didn't explain that. Because I was getting ready to get my boys, and we was going to hump this furniture over to the new place. She said, no, you might as well leave that right there. So guess what happened? We got back in debt. Living paycheck to paycheck. We in a nicer house. We live in a good life, but we paycheck to paycheck. So I got out of debt the third time. Got out of debt this third time. The wife said we need a new house. I went and got some paint and I painted the house. I said, there's your new house right there, man. If you're not careful, when you start applying this strategy, it's going to fool you to think that you done made it. But you ain't made it yet. Because this is our fourth cash flow stream. And there's a fifth one. There's a fifth one. And the fifth cash flow stream is investing to build passive income. $4,500 a month comes out to $54,540 a year that you can invest. See, you could not have told me when I started that I was going to have $54,000 a year that I could invest into my investment portfolio. I couldn't see that. But that's because there's 5 strategies. This is the 5th strategy for a reason. You got to go through strategy 1, strategy 2, strategy 3, strategy 4 before you get here. See, it's a building block. And it might take you 5 to 6 years before you get to strategy number 5. You need to be in business that long. So when you come into this business, this ain't no hit it and quit it type business. It might take you 5 years before you get to this strategy. That's okay. Because see, 10 years gonna come, Lord willing. And in 10 years, I want my money. But I gotta work on my money today in order to get it in 10 years for tomorrow. So we take this money and we invest it. In 10 years, that money grows to $831,000 in 10 years at a rate of return of 8%. Now I'm going to tell you, the stock market hot right now. The stock market hot. I've been making some good money this year. But we teach you where to put your money. We teach you how to understand investments. 8%, $831,000. Now, in Georgia, that go a long way. I'm telling you, you can sit on the porch in Georgia with that, okay? But if you practice some patience and wait 5 more years, there's this beautiful thing called compound interest. And compound interest will take you in 5 more years to $1.5 million. Can that change some people's lives? Yes. See, what I just showed you is a strategy that everyone in this room can apply. You ain't got to be no super salesperson. You ain't got to know everybody in the world. All you got to do is change your W-4. Minimize your taxes. Start making a little bit of business income. Get out of debt. Start investing. And you can become a millionaire. See, I get tired when I go to these places, to all these other companies, and they show you 2 or 3 people that became millionaires in the company. And everybody else in the room broke. See, my econ is my economy. your economy. I'm showing you how you can take your own money and become a millionaire. That's the difference in what we do. Everybody can hit this because it's your money. It ain't about how great you are, how smooth your tongue is. It ain't about how many people you know.
Yeah.
It's about you plugging into the system and working the system until the job gets done. Everybody can become a millionaire. Now, when you hang out with people who got money, you start learning different things. I was sitting there with Mr. Stokes, and because I'm working the plan, I already have projected out where my finances are going to be. I said, Mr. Stokes, I'm excited. He said, why are you excited? I said, because I'm a millionaire. I said, all my investments, and if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to have $1 million in my investment portfolio. He said, that's exciting. I said, yeah. I said, man, it's going to change my life. And he go, really? Well, what you going to do with $1 million? Now, see, what I've learned is when he started asking me questions, it means he getting ready to teach me something. Because he said, you little young whippersnapper, you don't know nothing. So I said, well, I got $1 million. I'm going to get that car that I always wanted. We're going to go get this house. We're going to go on vacations. We're going to do this and do that. He said, on $1 million? I said, yeah. He said, let me tell you something. He said, your $1 million is worth $50,000 a year. I said, what are you talking about? He said, your goal is to never touch the $1 million. I got mad then. He told me I'm not supposed to touch the $1 million. I said, well, why I saved all this money and I can't touch it? He said, see, that's your problem. You said save, and I'm talking about investing. He said, your goal is to live off the interest that the $1 million produces. And he says, if you got $1 million and you want to be conservative, it's going to give you about a 5 to 6% return each year. So 5% of $1 million will generate you $50,000 a year, and you never, ever will be broke because the $1 million will always be there. He said, that's how you leave an inheritance to your children's children. Yes. He said, if you eat all the seed, then you got nothing to leave your children. And they said that a good man leaves an inheritance. So I know you to be a good man, so you got to just eat off the interest.
Good teaching.
So I said, wait a minute. I got a bigger lifestyle than $50,000 a year right now. He said, well, what do you think you got to do? He said, you got to go to work. So I said, well, Mr. Stokes, I probably need $4 to $5 million a year now to live like I want to live. So I want to tell you why being in my econ is so important, because you get valuable lessons from people who are smarter than you, people who are wealthier than you. They tell me that if you hang out with 4 or 5 friends and you add up their income and find out what the average income is, that's what your income going to be. So I decided to change friends. I decided to hang out with some millionaires. I needed to change the numbers. Because at one point, I was the wealthiest person in my circle. That means that my average was going to go down. So I needed to get the advantage. So here's what he told me. He said, so you know how to build, he said, you know how to take your investment money and invest. And for those of you who don't know, I love investing. I'm an active investor. So I sit down with him one night and he said, well, show me what you're doing. And I showed him everything that I was doing. I done bought this stock and I'm trading this option and I'm doing this and I got a 20% return on this, and he just asking me all kind of questions. He set me up. He just trapped me. That's interesting. And then he goes, oh, that's good, June. I'm glad you're an investor. He said, but do you realize that you're not going to hit your goal doing what you're doing? I got mad again. Because I thought I had it going on. And I said, what are you talking about? He says, well, listen, how many years you got left? I said, well, I got about 20 to 25 years left to go. He said, all right. So you know how many years you got left? He said, you know how much money you got right now? I said, yes. He said, you know how much money you're contributing on a monthly basis? I said, yes. So he said, you have all the numbers that's going to tell you what you're going to have in 25 years. He said, if you add that up and calculate it, run it out 25 years, are you going to be where you need to be? So I calculated it up, ran it out, and I dropped my head. No, sir, I ain't got it. He said, so let me tell you something. And I need y'all to write this down, because I'm sharing his wisdom to you. He told me that there was 2 ways to get wealthy in America. Only 2. He said, you either buy wealth or you build wealth. I want you to write that down. You either buy wealth or you build wealth. Here's what he told me. He said, when you are investing, you are buying wealth. See, I'm taking my money and I'm buying Home Depot. I'm giving my money to Home Depot. And when Home Depot grows, Home Depot gives me a percentage of their growth back. That's buying wealth. Home Depot, on the other hand, is building wealth. They're building new buildings. They're putting more inventory in their stores. And so when Home Depot earns money, they earn 2,000% return. And they give me 12%. Home Depot takes my money and builds their own business. So Mr. Stokes says, you're never going to achieve the goals that you have if all you do is just buy wealth. You have to build wealth. That's why you build your business. See, you start off with nothing, but you keep building, because the good book says that he gave us the gift, the ability to get wealth. I gave you the ability to create wealth. That means that all you got is just a skill set that God gave you. And inside of that skill set, he has given you the ability to create everything that you need.
Amen.
Some of us operate in our gift and we maximize that gift, and some of us don't. But all of us have the gift and the ability to create wealth. Are you activating your gift?
Right, that's it. That's it. Right. That's it.
Once you activate that gift, no man can close the door. No man can open the door. Everything that's yours is yours. But can you activate the gift? Now he told me, you got to go and activate the gift. You know what I found out what my gift was? My gift was teaching. I'm instructing you today. The reason why you're excited and having a good time is because I'm operating in my gift. That smart money kit, I designed that. That's my gift. I'm a teacher. It is my gift. Do you think I designed the smart money kit and just gave it to my econ? No! That's my gift. I have to get paid for my gift. And because I'm operating in my gift, my econ flourishes and I flourish. So he told me to find my gift and start operating in my gift. See, most people think I work for my econ. I don't work for my econ. Here's what he told me. He said, I could hire you. He said, if I hired you, I wouldn't be living up to the principles that I believe in. So he said, I want you to be a consultant to my econ so that we can pay you as a consultant and pay you for your gifts. I don't need an employee. I need another entrepreneur who understands what his gift is so that you can grow in your gift.
All right now. All right now.
Aren't you glad you got a co-founder that's that smart, that open to say, I don't want to hire you as an employee. I want you to work as a consultant. I want you to have your own business.
That's it. Yes.
He said, because my econ is mine. It ain't yours. You work in my econ, you're operating in my econ, and you're leveraging what my econ gives you. But my econ is my business. You got to go get your business. How many founders and owners of companies would be that bold enough to tell you that the company is theirs, not yours?
Yes.
He said, I want you to come into my econ and I want you to build a huge team. But I want you to always remember that you got to build your own business. That's why we tell people in this industry, network marketing, you're not building a business inside of network marketing. You're building seed money. And that seed money allows you now to go build what you really want to build.
Come on.
Exactly. That's it.
See, I don't want you to get so hung up and think that my econ is everything in your life.
Yes.
Because it shouldn't be. My econ should just be that vehicle that provides you with the seed. And then you take the seed and you begin to plant the seed and build something that is yours.
Yes.
You ain't gonna hear no other company tell you that. They want you to be a slave and sell their product. They want you to be a slave and sell their product. They don't want you to think about you becoming a business owner yourself. We're different. We want each and every one of you. If you wash clothes good, I want you to start a dry cleaner.
Oh, come on now. Woo!
That's right.
If that's the gift that he gave you.
Yes.
If you cut hair real good, I want you to start a salon and own a chain of salons. Because everything that you learn in my econ is preparing you for what you do in your business. Everybody understand what I'm saying? We got a lot of people in my econ that have other businesses. But they use my econ to get them the capital that they needed. That seed money that they needed. And then they took that seed and went and built what they were supposed to build. Now, if you're excited just like I am, I'm excited every day that I wake up. If you're excited and you're saying, okay, how do I get started? Well, when you get started in this business, website has everything in it. All the training, all the resources, everything that you need. But we're also going to give you a world-class business, right? You get a world-class business system. Now somebody said, what's a world-class business system? See, the reason why most people can't really build the business that they really want is they don't have the finances to do that. I ask people all the time, what do you want to do? I don't know why we like to do this. I want a car wash, I want a barbershop, I want a beauty salon. And I said, well, why haven't you done that? Well, it costs $50,000. It costs $100,000, and I don't have that, right? See, when you start a traditional business, you need a business license. You probably need a building. You probably need some supplies and products. You're going to need somebody in shipping to ship your product. You're going to need customer service. Somebody got to answer the phones. And when people didn't get their order or whatever, you got customer service to take care of that. You're going to need accounting. You're going to need all of those things. And in my econ, we got all that for you already. You don't need none of that in my econ. You just need to get started. We took care of all of that for you. So that's the business system. Plus, you get the income shifting membership. Now, if you forgot what was inside the income shifting membership, we get the income shifting strategy. That's how you shift your money. We get the cash flow management software. That's how you track your expenses. You get the identity theft protection, the free and discount legal services. You get the smart money credit system, and you get the discount travel. Now, somebody said, well, how much is all this going to cost? And I learned in life to not ask how much is it going to cost, but to ask how much is it going to make.
All right, that's right. That's good.
I want you to think about that for a moment. I learned to stop asking how much it costs and start asking how much is it going to make me.
That's good.
Because if you know how much it's going to make you, it don't matter how much it's going to cost.
That's good.
But in this situation, is only $34.95 a month. So you get to change your entire family's financial future for $34.95 a month. And let me tell you something. There are people who still walk away. There are people who still quit on $34.95. Let me explain to you that when you pay $34.95, you make all that money back and then some, just on the tax savings alone.
All right.
See, when you book your flight and your hotel room, I make almost $34.95 just on that one thing alone. I want you to think about that for a moment. See, if I take me and my family over to Chick-fil-A and have one meal at Chick-fil-A, a number one, supersized with a lemonade, no ice,
My goodness.
it's gonna cost us about $40 for us to eat at Chick-fil-A one time. So, you need this business. I don't care who you are. Because see, Donald Trump got a business. And if Donald Trump got a business, you need a business. I told you, you can't hate the game. You can't even hate the player.
Right.
You got to play the game and become a player. So what uniform you gonna wear? What uniform are you gonna wear? Are you still gonna be the one that's complaining about the new tax laws? Are you gonna be the one that's gonna be complaining about the rich keep getting rich, the poor keep getting poor? Are you gonna complain about that, or are you gonna stop and say, you know what? Ain't nothing I can do to stop what I see that's going on. All I can control is me. And what I gotta do is I gotta change the side of the fence that I'm on. And I gotta start using the law to work in my favor so that my neighborhood starts getting fixed up. So that I and my family and my community starts becoming wealthy. See, most of us are waiting for someone to come in and save our community. Ain't nobody coming to save your community. What vested interest do they have in saving your community? I want you to think about that for a moment. What vested interest do they have in saving your community? Everybody saves their own community. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody saves their own community. That means that we have to save our own community. Everybody saves their own community. And I'm here to tell you that, again, this is not a white, a black, an Asian, a Hispanic. This is not one of those things. Because 69% of Americans do not have $1,000 in their bank account. African Americans only make up 13% of the population. And all African Americans ain't broke. So that must mean that every nationality is part of that 69%. So what we offer to all people. All people. We all got more in common than we even know. Brokitis. We all got things in common. The real separation is the wealthy versus the poor. That's the real separation. And if we could wake up and realize that, we can go out and change our economy, we can change our world. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to understand that that $34.95 is tax deductible. You get to write that off as well when you get started in this company called My Econ. So the question is not, how do I get started? The question is, when do you just get started? And the answer is today. You get started today for $34.95. Get started. And when you start today, that miles that you drove here to get to the hotel, that's a tax write-off. When you leave here and you decide that you are going to go back home, that's more mileage that you get to write off. That cell phone that you're looking at right now, that's a write-off. You start hiring your children in your business. You start writing that off. And next year come this time, when it's time to do taxes, you're going to be really excited because you're going to lower your tax liability. You're going to get more money back into your pocket. You're going to start getting out of debt, and you're going to start investing and building generational wealth.
Yes.
And you're going to start hanging around people. Look in this room. You're going to start hanging around people who got $1 million ideas. You're going to start hanging around people who got money, who's going to talk to you about how to manage your money. See, your network is important as well. Somebody told me that your network, your net worth, is based on your network. So who are you hanging out with? I told you. I looked at the 5 people and I added it up. And I was the wealthiest person in my circle. I said something got to change. So I had to change the numbers. I had to change the people that I hung out with. That doesn't mean that I don't hang out and talk to my old friends. But what it means is that I have different conversations now with different people. And there ain't nothing wrong with growing. There ain't nothing wrong with improving yourself.
Right.
Going to another level. You're supposed to do that. That's what you're supposed to do. So my name is June Collier. I am the Vice President of Marketing with My Econ. I want to thank you for coming out to this morning.